like yeah, it's pretty even, 6 versus 7, but you can't twist the stats. You can't like add disclaimers after the fact. So
the point is that Ben is basically relying on BVP to make this assertion, though, which means that I'm throwing
Strasburg Day, like the ultimate Strasburg troll day for people on both sides.
Oh yeah, it's the most. Yeah. Tuttle called it last week in Sunday's article. Strauss is the most polarizing issue in daily fantasy baseball, bar none.
I think people have this weird bias against guys who have hype.
Well, and I think honestly, I would have to look at this, and I'm not gonna say that this is true in black and white, but I would assume that Strasburg's run support probably hasn't been really great this year. I feel like he maybe hasn't gotten like a lot of run support relative to the rest of the staff, which really changes his score on FanDuel. You know, instead of a 14-point performance with a win, it becomes a 10-point performance, which we view as disappointing. But if he gets the win, it's a completely different thing. You know what I'm saying? Are you pulling that up right now, or do I need to go
I mean, I don't have the run support stat numbers, but he's 8 and 9, you know, with a 3.39 ERA.
Yeah, and that's even an ERA, not like an ERA predictor. Like a 3, that's better than league average anyway. Yeah. So you would expect him to be at least 500 with his record anyway. Yeah. And so yeah, he's been a little unlucky. If you look at his ERA predictors, like all of them, they're all lower. They all are predicting better future success. I mean, xFIP, FIP, ERA plus, all of those. They all say that he's going to be better. And the Braves are a hacking team, anyways. To say that you don't want to start him against the Braves is saying basically that you believe in BVP, just in sort of the reverse. So I don't care what team it is.
Yeah, I'm all aboard. The weather, like Dink was G-chatting me before. He's like, the weather's going to bail me out, so I don't have to go all in on him. But it looks like it's clearing up a little bit. I'm hoping to use him. I think he's going to dominate. But I think no matter what he does, people on both sides of the argument are going to claim like some sort of victory off of one start, and it's going to be just so stupid.
I mean, I'm going to claim victory at the end of the season when Strauss has like a 2.8 ERA and is like 5th in Cy Young voting because he's the man.
Yeah.
I think that another guy that people might not be viewing correctly tonight is Jose Quintana. That's another hashtag natural slugger hot take, is that he had Jose Quintana pretty high in his rankings today. And the reason that people think that is because the Mariners lineup is super left-handed, except after the trade deadline it's really not. They have Denorfia, Austin Jackson. They added a bunch of right-handed bats that are going to change that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good point, because he like straight up, dominated them earlier in the year. But that's when I think they had like something like 8 left-handed bats in their lineup. And now, you've got Morales, who switch hits, Denorfia, Austin Jackson, Corey Hart. So you're going to get like probably the majority of that lineup is going to be right-handed batters. There's still going to be 3 to 4 lefties, but it's not going to be like earlier in the year. It's a good start, but I don't think he has the upside of like a Strasburg, and I think some people might think he will just solely of looking at the last time he played the Mariners.
Yeah, and it's like his K rate is up relative to his career average, but even with an elevated K rate, he's still not at what Strasburg has done for his career.
Not even close.
Not even close. So as like a second option on DraftKings, I can see it, but if you're considering Jose Quintana as like your one guy on FanDuel, I cannot vibe with that. I can't vibe with that at all, really.
Yeah, he's a really solid pitcher, but I'm not vibing with that either. I want really high strikeout guys on FanDuel or someone I think's extremely safe, and I don't think he quite I think he just misses qualifying for both of those.
Yeah.
For me.
So they have
like if you're not going Strasburg on FanDuel, Cashmere's, a huge favorite at home, good park against a Twins team that's just not that good.
Yeah, you're definitely going Kazmir if you're not going Strasburg. Kazmir is he's sort of weird for me. I never seem to get him right. Like he has this sub 3 ERA and like a really good strikeout rate, but I can't ever remember a time where I started him and he just really dominated. I know that he was really good against the Astros a couple starts ago, but I
Yeah,
do really like him.
Was that the start where we had to play Wainwright?
Yeah. That was also the Wainwright blow up games. That was fun.
I just had to throw my dig in there. You're not having enough fun today.
Dude, I am tired, bro. I just, like, honestly, right now what's happening is the idea of, like, setting lineups across 3 sites, like, I'm, like, running through it in my brain right now, and it just sounds so exhausting. And I'm also on golf tilt because Jordan Spieth is sucking, Kevin Nawave is being terrible, and then Kyle Cannon, who is in the chat right now, told me to fade Jim Furyk for Keegan Bradley, who is just awful. He's like in the 100.
I was just waiting for you to blame somebody else, and it took the third name on your list to blame someone else. That's an improvement for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, but I got Rory right, at least, which is about the only thing that I did right. Here's Kyle better defend himself in the chat right now. Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone was all over Bradley. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad, Kyle.
Sound mad.
No, it's just like what happened is the only reason I ended up playing was I was laying in bed about 2:00 and I saw the notification from DraftKings like, oh, you have a ticket you haven't used, and it was for one of the golf tourneys this weekend. And so I put together a lineup, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I'll just play volume. Like, I'll just play my normal cash games with this, and that might not have been the greatest look. Whatevs. All right.
Back to pitching.
Back to pitching. I thought this was just... David's not here. I can talk about whatever I want.
No, I don't think it works that way. What do you think about Bumgarner? Because I feel like I like him more than most. I know the Royals don't strike out as much, but I view that as a very safe start.
A Royals batter has never been called out on strikes in the history of baseball, apparently. Like, the way people talk about them, you would think that, but... They do not strike out very much. It's still like the least in the league, but they also walk.
It's rising though. I mean, it's been on the rise.
Well, because they've added guys like Infante back to the lineup, although he doesn't strike a ton. But they removed Hosmer, and they've been playing a ton. Like Eric Kratz is DHing tonight. Their backup catcher is playing designated hitter tonight. So. Yeah, I think Mad Bum is what's his tag on DK? He was really cheap.
It's not bad. It's 9,700. I mean, you could probably play Straws and Bum in cash games pretty easily.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if that's the route I would go. I still think that Quintana is probably a pretty good play on DraftKings for 8 points.
Yeah, I think he's a safe second guy. I don't think he has the upside as the other guys, but he's 8,300. You could definitely go him. Ian Kennedy also 8,300. Cashmere 8,800. You've definitely got options for your second starting pitcher on DK, which is nice because hopefully the percentages won't be crazy high for some guys. Iwakuma, someone just said in the chat. Him too.
Steve has been asking me about Iwakuma all day. He just because Strasburg is pitching and the way the price tags worked out, I haven't really looked at him at all. But I mean, Elias did pretty good against the White Sox last night, and I mean, Knapp said on the show yesterday, not that I necessarily believe in cold streaks or anything, but the White Sox can't catch a cold right now. They can't do anything.
Yeah, and they're top half of the league in weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitching, but they strike out a lot, and they get a big downgrade in park factor. So yeah, and it's a super low total, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, 6.5 total, and the under is minus 130, so it's pushing 6. And Kuma's a big favorite, so the White Sox might actually have the lowest team total on the day. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
team total for the White Sox is 3, and it looks like it really wants to get to 2.5.
Yeah. The problem with Kuma on FanDuel in particular is that he doesn't strike a ton of people out. He's like a balls in play type pitcher. He's not bad at strike. He's not Jamie Moyer. He's not an extreme ground baller. But I mean, it all just comes back to the strikeouts. And I think I'd rather have Kazmir against the Twins than Kuma against the White Sox. Honestly.
Yeah, Kuma's way safer though than Kazmir. I feel like no matter who they're playing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's definitely safer.
I mean, Kuma burned me once, and I was extremely bitter about it versus the Red Sox earlier in the year, but he doesn't really blow up that much. I mean, it seems like a really high floor play, especially with the team total, pushing 2.5 for the White Sox.
I mean, I remember when my Astros beat him up pretty bad, so it definitely can happen. Everyone was all over him because the Astros strike out.
He gave up like a couple of solo homers. He didn't get crushed.
I think he gave up 4 solo home runs in that game because they put up 4 on him.
You home run to fly ball rated him to death. Congratulations.
That's what they do, though. That is exactly what they do. Like,
should we just get on to stacks then, and you can talk about the Astros?
I mean, we can talk about the Astros versus Mikolas. I mean, so I think we should each give our rankings out so that people have an idea, because we sort of give a lot of guys, and then we don't necessarily always give like a ton of context. So for me, it would go Strasburg, Kazmir, Bumgarner, Kuma, and then Quintana would be my top 5.
I think I'm going Strasburg, Kuma. I'm kind of with Tuttle. Tuttle gave his list in the chat, and I'm kind of on the same page as him. For tournaments, I could see, going with Bumgarner, because I feel like people might overcompensate for the fact the Royals don't strike out, and he might be like a low percentage owned guy that could go, complete game shutout.
Yeah.
But cash games, Strasburg, Kuma, Bumgarner, Kazmir.
Do you want to talk about Kennedy or Worley? I know that people will probably be on them just because of the run environment.
I hate Vance Worley, so I probably won't touch him anywhere regardless of the run environment.
Yeah, they were talking about him on the Fangraphs pod the other day and basically just said that some of this stuff is real changes. The Pirates hired the guy who was like either his college or his high school coach, his pitching coach, and changed some stuff. So that could be an explanation for some of it, but also most baseball people think that the regression is probably going to start coming from him.
Yeah, and I mean, the Pirates do have a pretty good history with, turning around some pitchers, but he's still not striking people out. So your upside is that, I don't know, he keeps limiting some runs, but 5 Ks per 9, I don't know what that gives you. That just doesn't do it for me in almost any context. I don't care. Unless it's like
he basically has to go complete game shutout with the win to match a 7-inning Strasburg performance.
Yeah, like a short slate night, I'll take a chance on some guys who are in low run scoring environments. But a night like tonight where there's a lot of options and a lot of guys who are going to strike people out, I'm not touching a guy who has a K per 9, lower than 6, lower than 7, and he's at 5 something.
Oh, come on, K per 9, dude. That's like 2009 sabermetrics. Got to use K percentage, bro.
All right, 14.3 K. K per 9 is, you're right, K percentage is way better, but K per 9 is more easily translated in people's heads for.
I mean, actually, I think for fantasy, maybe not fantasy, but for daily fantasy, K per 9 is better because it also bakes in how deep those guys go into games.
No, it's a ratio.
Of course it's a ratio, but it bakes it. There's a ton of other performance stuff that goes into, like how many innings a guy goes, how many runners he lets on, that's contextually in that information. Think about it, because the more batters a guy faces, the more guys he has a chance.
Right, but then your K per 9 could be like super, like someone could have a high K per 9 because they are getting really unlucky with balls in play and they're facing more batters in an inning. So they're getting more Ks just on the basis of facing more batters, which is why that's the whole reason why it's not good, because that doesn't tell you his actual skill is striking people out.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Well, you were the one. You were the one who used it. So.
No, I'm saying why it's bad, but it's just easy to say.
Yeah.
It's a shortcut.
It is,
and it's not that far off for our purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like a really extreme case with some weird BABIP stuff.
All right, let's talk about stacks. I mean, we got to talk about the Stackstros versus Miles Mikolas, who is, I mean, just a really terrible pitcher. He has like a 7.29 ERA, and I think both of his FIPS are above 5. I don't have his Fangraphs pulled up right now, but when I wrote about him last time I did hitters on Sunday, both of his ERA predictors were above 5. So this is not a good pitcher.
Miles, you're talking about?
Yeah, Miles Mikolas.
Yeah. I mean, his expected ERAs aren't terrible, but like if you look at his projections for Steamer and Zips, they both have, a really high ERA. Zips has 4.71, Steamer is 4, 9.5. Both have, him giving up more homers than he has so far. Yeah, it's just not pretty. He's just not that good and doesn't project to be that good. He's given up a 25% line drive rate. Obviously, everything's a small sample size for him, but
none of it is encouraging. Like, none of it is good.
None of it's encouraging. You're seeing he's giving up hard contact. He's not really striking people out, and his walk rate is, league average at best. So, the three teams that I jumped to when I was just looking last night at, like, the Vegas stuff to kind of get ahead, that I liked for tournaments for stacking were, Angels, Diamondbacks, and Astros. Those were the three teams I was kind of focusing on.
That is kind of funny to me. I guess Matzik. I mean, it's hard to view those guys properly outside of Coors. You don't know, but Matzik is actually probably the worst one.
I mean, the thing with those guys is they're all really bad. It's not Coors making them bad. Coors isn't helping. But
yeah, Coors is.
His expected ERAs for Zips and Steamer are both around 5.5 rest of the season. I'm sure they're taking Coors into account a little bit, but that's still pretty nuts. And it's not. And Chase Field, I mean, is a good hitter's park. It's obviously not Coors, but it's still a strong hitting environment.
I mean, to me though, like, is Goldschmidt going to be back in the lineup? Because he hasn't been placed on the DL yet, has he?
I don't think he's going to be in the lineup.
See, Goldschmidt to me sort of ties that whole stack together.
I'm still sucked into Trumbo. We talked about this last week. That power upside. Aaron Hill's in there. And then you can, if you want to stack too, you can get some cheap guys like Andy Marte, Pacheco.
Pacheco, son.
As a cheap catcher who has done at least okay versus left.
See, and I don't like that they have like guys like
most of the lineup
and Ender and Cintiarte. Like, they have a ton of lefties in there and Montero.
No Aaron Hill really bums me out though.
Yeah, dude, this is a trash lineup.
That is a trash lineup. And Marte's hitting 9. I'm backing off my D-backs. I really don't like the way that's constructed. I might just throw Trumbo in as like somewhere by himself then.
Yeah. I think that someone just said it in the chat though, but Esmail Rogers, I'm playing 4 Indians. I don't care. Because Rogers is one of those dudes who, like, supposedly has good stuff. Like, scouts keep saying he's good, but he just gives up a trillion dongs. Like, he just lets... And in Yankee Stadium, where lefties have such a power boost because of the short porch, and every Yankee or every Indian who's any good is left-handed, like, it's just going to be nuts. It's going to be dongs everywhere.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that the Cleveland team total is so low. It's like 4.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised by that because, career-wise, Rogers has given up a 376 weighted on-base average left-handed batter, which is horrendous. That's in 191 innings specifically against left-handed batters, so not like a huge sample size, but it's not like we're taking 5 starts worth of data either.
Yeah.
And then you're facing Cleveland, who is, second in all baseball weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitching. Throw them in an environment where left-handed batters thrive. I'm definitely on board.
Not only thrive, but it's the best home run for left-handed batters in baseball, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good stack. I think that one's going to be popular. I was trying to kind of look at, tournament stacks where, like, a high chance of success, but maybe people won't totally be on it, which is why I was the 3 I gave. But if you're looking in cash games, I definitely, like a few Cleveland guys in there.
What about the Rangers?
Chisenhall's price, like, kind of
Chisenhall's not in the lineup.
What the hell?
Their lineup sucks. You can only take like the first 5 guys. The entire they have every single one of their bench bats in the lineup. All 4 of them are in the lineup.
They keep batting Avila second, which is stupid.
No, according to Dan, it's a Viles, by the way. So
Avila is batting second.
it was one of the worst mispronunciations in the history of the show. It was pretty great. I kind of like the Rangers versus Oberholzer, though, the way it sets up. You can get Andrews in for pretty cheap. You can get JP Aaron CB in for pretty cheap. There's some good options there, I think. I don't know how you feel about stacking up against Oberholzer.
Yeah, he's a guy I feel like I pick on too much, so when I saw it, I was like... I mean, definitely for cash games, you're looking at Beltre, but I don't know. I don't have a good read on Oberholzer. I'd be lying if I said I did.
Yeah, he's not very good. So there's that information.
Yeah, fly ball pitcher who doesn't strike people out. That tends to end badly.
Uh-huh.
Basically, his home run to fly ball rate saving him, especially when you consider how many fly balls he gives up with the low K rate. That if that normalizes, that's going to have a pretty big impact on his ERA.
Yeah. Let's start talking about catchers. I actually think the two catchers that you want to use on FanDuel come from that game, Jason Castro and JP Arancibia, because Carlos Santana is first base, and you can use him at third base on DraftKings. They're batting second and third. I probably err on the side of Castro, just because I think that Mikolas is worse than Oberholzer, but I don't hate Arancibia batting third at all.
Yeah, and I still think you have to look at Jaso as a safe guy. His price has dropped back down on FanDuel to $2,900. And he's going to get on base against Gibson. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm trying to make Dan proud, and not just... Because literally, every day at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, we transition to catchers, and I say, so, John Jaso, who else is there at the catcher?
He's, made for FanDuel.
Yeah, platoon, and he just gets on base, all of the time.
Yeah, and I like Castro a lot, too. I know Dink doesn't seem like he likes him as much as I do, just looking at his cheat sheets for the day, because he did our content for the day, but I don't know. I've always had a soft spot on Castro.
Kyle Gibson is honestly not as bad as everyone wants to think he is. I know Derek Carty just hates Kyle. He thinks Kyle Gibson is trash. But we're through half of a season, and both his ERA and his ERA predictors are not that bad.
No, he's not. And the thing is, he's finally reducing his walk rate just enough. When you're not striking anyone out, you can't have a below league average walk rate, which is what he had last year, and kind of did him in. He just gets a ton of ground balls, and now he's not walking people, but he's still not good.
I want to say just real quick, looking at lineups, rest in peace the 3 days when Sam Fuld was batting off versus righties for the Athletics. That was a pretty fun little era that we had going on in baseball that is now gone.
Well, Crisp was out.
Yeah, which is whatevs. Dink is right, though. He is sort of one of those blow-up pitchers. Obviously, Jaso's an elite play almost every single night just because he does get on base and does have some power potential versus right-handed pitching as well. And they've been pinch hitting for him less with the way the team is currently constituted. But it looks like, Norris is not in this game, so he is going to get pinch hit for at some point.
We got to talk about Posey, too, facing a left-handed pitcher.
Yeah,
I know you don't usually like to pay up for Posey.
A lot of the time, the thing with Posey for me is that he plays at AT&T, and so you want him for the power stuff, but you wouldn't really want to take a power hitter at AT&T.
Yeah, but he's amassed these insane numbers against lefties, even hitting there.
Yeah, I understand. It's just Buster Posey might be the hitting version of Steven Strasburg, where he just seems to always suck, in a good spot.
I feel like he doesn't really let me down that much, but
he's always let me down, Dan.
Maybe you should give him more of a chance.
Well, he was bad in Coors, and I think I haven't used him since then.
Yeah, he was bad in Coors. But the problem is we take everyone when they play in Coors, so a few guys are bound to do poorly.
No. That should not be how it works. Coors is... Javi Baez hit 3 home runs in 3 days. Buster Posey can't hit 1. Garbage. Do your Buster Posey spiel.
No. Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, do it.
No, I think he is second in all baseball in weighted run created plus against left-handed pitching since 2012. He just absolutely dominates southpaws. So for me, that makes him the top catcher, especially when he's against a mediocre pitcher in Jason Vargas. He's not awful, but if you're looking for
you have a weird thing about Jason Vargas where you always use him as your example of a mediocre pitcher not to stack against because of the way he gets outs.
I don't like to stack against Jason Vargas.
Yeah, you're right.
But I've been burned. I was burned by it way too many times when he was with the Angels. I learned my lesson. But I think if you're looking for especially on FanDuel where you can make a good lineup with a bunch of individual plays, you don't need necessarily 2 or 3 guys as part of a good stack. I just like Posey a lot. I think he's, if I had to bet on one catcher to get the most points, it would be him.
Yeah, but if you were going to bet on a double dunk game, you'd bet on Aaron Sibiedo. 5 sure.
If I was betting on a 5 strikeout game, I would also bet.
Yeah, it's also there's no in between. Yeah, and I also think that that's a good spot to get cheap exposure to Mikolas or Oberholzer, though, or cheaper than Posey. Let's talk about middle infield though, because I kind of got lazy today. I saw Kipnis versus Esmail Rogers leading off.
You just ended it there.
Yeah, I just ended the research there. So what second baseman do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I liked Aaron Hill, but he's not in the lineup, so that kind of sucks. So I think Kipnis is definitely the top play. Scooter Jeanette's back in there batting 5th. Roberto Hernandez is god-awful against left-handed batters, and it's in Milwaukee. So that's a good spot to get the Scooter train back up and going, especially on DK. FanDuel's price is a lot, but DK is pretty silly. I mean, 3,200, and he's got shortstop eligibility. I think that's an awesome catch.
Is Adam Rosales still like the min on DraftKings?
Oh,
I'm at the pull up my lineups page up right now because I know for a while he wasn't really playing, or he might have been down in the minors for a while, so he was really close to the minimum.
He's
and he
3,200. So I mean, I'd rather have Scooter, but
you'd rather have Scoots.
Oh yeah,
man, Mark Teixeira not in the lineup versus Bauer. That bums me out. I just saw that.
I'd definitely rather have Scooter, but I mean they're both hitting 5th in decent parks against bad pitchers. So
what do you think about taking Altuve over Kipnis just because Mikolas is so bad?
Dude, Altuve is. I honestly have a tough time with those speed guys because it's hard to predict, when they're going to go off.
5 home runs this year, though. He's hit two in
and he's so much better versus lefties, but he's still super valuable against righties because he steals bases. But it's kind of hard to predict because you don't know when he's going to get on base in the righty-right matchups.
I mean, if you want to hear a hot scouting take from our buddy at Sports for Steve,
yeah,
he was
I
at
want
the
to
game.
hear it.
He was at the game last night, and he said that he stung Altuve stung every out, it was not a deserved -1. Mark Krause was getting all the glory though because his balls went over the fence.
Mark Krause, baby.
Yeah. Oh, Mark Krause is going to be prominently figured in today's first base discussion. I also like D. Gordon versus Kyle Loesch. Ground ball hitter versus ground ball pitcher gives himself a chance to get on base and make some things happen. But I always like D. Gordon, so not that that's particularly helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely use Altuve on a tournament team for sure, though, because bad pitcher on a leading off for a team that you like to stack, and then the fact that he could steal 2 to 3 bases and just really rack up the points.
Yep. All right, let's do shortstops. I mean, Mercer is back to batting against right-handed pitching. Sucks. And Javi Baez is already playing, so that also sucks. So I think I'm just going to take Elvis Andrus with the platoon against Oberholzer. I know that he's not going to steal as much versus left-handed pitching, but I do have a sort of higher than normal run expectation for the Rangers tonight, and he's really cheap on FanDuel. On DraftKings, I don't think I've decided what I'm doing for shortstop yet.
Scooter.
Scoots? Yeah, I probably do Scoots there.
2 guys that Dink wrote up that I'm on the same page with him on are Johnny Peralta and Eric Ibar.
Yeah.
Peralta gets, a big park shift. It's a righty-righty matchup, but he's a pretty even splits guy, and Tillman, has had problems for same-handed batters. So that seems to be matching up well for him. And then, Eric Ibar for the Angels, again, one of the teams I like to stack tonight. And they keep hitting him in good spots in the lineup, in RBI spots randomly, having him hit 5th. So
yeah,
count me in.
I mean, middle infield is just boring, dude. I don't care about any of these guys. I'm punting these positions more often than not, honestly. I'll also, Billy Hamilton, just anytime. I love that you can play him at short, basically. Nate Eovaldi has really, really struggled this year, both with control and keeping the ball in the park. And it is in GAB, so you never know who's going to hit a home run in GAB. I didn't realize until sort of recently how insane Great American Ballpark is for home runs, though. But like Derek, like kind of walked me through it and showed me some of the stuff, and
yeah. I mean, I don't have it as high as him, but I have it, I think, second highest. The site that I mean, I use ParkFactors.com. They're pretty good. I trust them, but yeah, I don't have it higher than Coors. I know you said Derek does, but I have it, pretty high up there.
Yeah. So Billy Hamilton, and I just think that it's a huge edge that he's still listed at shortstop. Like, has he played a game at shortstop at all this season?
I don't think so. I don't really know why he's still a shortstop there. Maybe just to keep things exciting.
Yeah, I love being able to play him at shortstop though. Like, he's always one of the shortstops who's in hashtag pretty good spot.
All right, uber small sample size, but back to my Angels love. Small sample size warning, but Webster has started 9 games, played in 10 in his career, and has an 8.22 ERA.
What's the predictor, though? What's his FIP?
His FIP is 6.41.
Oh, okay. So you're telling me that
Zips has him 4.71 rest of the season. Steamer has him 5.04.
Okay, well then, yeah, Eric Ibar, dude, fire it up. Also, Cole Calhoun, all of it.
Yep, Cole Calhoun was Dink's title player.
Yeah, nice. Ginger, dude, he doesn't have a soul, so he doesn't care if he hurts your fantasy teams. All right, first base. I don't really have any first baseman that I liked. Like, I guess Brandon Moss, but he's like so cold and gross right now. I mean,
yeah, I'm okay bypassing Moss on a day. I really liked him last night because Pino.
And he was okay.
Yeah, and he did just miss a home run too. I mean,
I wasn't watching. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I'm just taking Mark Krause. I know that is like sort of lazy, but it's really funny when you're on the MLB at bat app, like you're just watching and you can cycle through like, okay, Chris Carter's at bat, batting like 210, something like that, but with like 20 home runs. You scroll over, Krause is batting below the Mendoza line, 6 home runs. You scroll over, John Singleton's batting 118, has 10 home runs. Like, that is the Astros in a nutshell. They either they hit the ball over the fence or they just don't make contact at all. And yeah, like I'm just taking Mark Krause. Like, I think he's the minimum on FanDuel, almost the minimum on DD and DraftKings.
Yeah,
like,
and Krause, 2,400 on DK, hitting cleanup against Nicholas at home. I mean, that's really really nice spot.
Like, I know he's terrible. Like, I have access to the same Fangraphs page that everyone else has access to. I get it, but you just can't replace that though. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're not going to find a guy with his price in a better spot tonight. I don't think.
Yeah, and someone just typed in chat, they're torn at him at first base or outfield. I mean, I just don't like any of these first base options. I don't feel like any of them are in super good spots or priced appropriately. I mean, the one that I wanted was Teixeira batting versus a righty in Yankee Stadium, but he's not even in the lineup. So
I mean, I like Chris Davis. He started to turn around a little bit. Masterson, historically struggle against left-handed batters.
See, if I'm going to take a terrible first baseman who has nothing but power, I'm going to take Mark Krause.
I did see a very interesting stat. I think it was it Hodge who tweeted it? Someone tweeted it last night. The last 162 games, Chris Carter versus Chris Davis. And it was basically the exact same line.
Yep, Stackstros, man. It's real. Strikeout or
but
home.
Same game, Matt Adams too against Tillman. Big park shift for him.
Fat Matt. I mean, yeah, I'm okay with him. He's normally pretty cheap relative to what you are expecting him to do. Like, you only take Matt Adams when he's in a really good spot. You're never taking Matt Adams based on skill alone.
I think Matt Adams is better than you think he is.
I'm totally with Steve here. I think Matt Adams is not that great.
Steve thinks a lot of guys aren't that great.
I'm just saying I'm with him on this particular player.
Look at his triple slash. That's pretty good. I mean, his power has been a little disappointing this year, but
yeah. Oh, real quick, we should also mention that we should mention that Hanley Ramirez is like stupid cheap on FanDuel. He's like 3.5 on FanDuel. Dumb cheap for his skills versus Every type of pitching doesn't matter. Okay, third base. Yeah, I have Chisenhall in here because I didn't check lineups yet. So who should I use at third base?
I think Beltre is the
Yeah.
clear-cut top option there.
I like Beltre
Against
a lot.
Overholzer, good ballpark.
I also
And
think
I think like if you've got guys like Krause, who we've talked about, Scooter at middle infield, I think you can make it work in cash games.
Yeah. No, you can. You don't have to worry. And also Carlos Santana, if you do want to take Posey or Aaron Sibby or Castro at catcher, taking Carlos Santana at third base, I think is perfectly fine as well.
Yeah, he's got that annoying first base and really high price tag on FanDuel. But DK,
I'm taking him there. I'm taking him there anyway. Don't care.
First base?
Yeah.
I thought you were taking Krause.
I'm splitting, but yeah. I have Krause on DraftKings and Draft Day. But
yeah, I'm on the Beltre train pretty hardcore.
You and Dink love Adrian Beltre. Not that you're wrong to tonight. He's obviously in a hashtag pretty good spot tonight. But no one loves Adrian Beltre more than you two.
Dude, he's awesome. And he hits same-handed pitching really well. So when the game gets into the bullpen, he doesn't lose a ton of value.
Jordan just said the Bell train in chat, and now I want to tell him he can't move in with me.
Oh, man, you guys are going to be living together? Have you lived with him before?
No, he moves in like 2 days.
How's that going to go?
Probably not great. He's such a turd.
You guys should get a reality show, I think.
I think we're going to do the college football show together, like from the apartment for FI.
That's going to be cute. Are you going to have your own computers, or are you going to do it, like, huddled together?
Totally going to do it huddled, like with my special camera in our living room.
I love it.
Swaggy. Yeah. You want to talk about outfield, or are there other third basemen you want to mention?
Nah, just play Adrian Beltre. I mean, I think Carpenter is so boring, but, again, Park Shift, Tillman's not that good.
He's the ultimate cash game play, dude.
Yeah. I just always see, like I'm looking at FanDuel, Beltre 3,600, Carpenter 3,500, and I can't, in my right mind, bring myself to not pay 100 more for Beltre.
Yeah. No, you're right. Outfield, we haven't talked about this at all, but I totally want to get Giancarlo in some tournament lineups tonight because of how home run enhancing GAB is. He doesn't have the platoon, and I think he's been cold, quote unquote, whatever the shit that means. He had a home run last night, though.
He's one of those guys, along with those speed guys we're talking about, Gordon and Altuve, that, we fill out our cheat sheets. It's almost like auto fill-in tournament play, unless he's a cash game play because of a good matchup. Just because he can hit a home run off anyone, and then you throw him, in Great American Ballpark. Not the best, Woba on Woba matchup, but
Woba on Woba.
Certainly a tourney option.
I've never heard that said before. I like it. I like Woba on Woba. Woba on Woba crime even. I also think Cole Calhoun is also sort of like a must play on DraftKings. 3.6 on DraftKings. If you find someone who's a better value than that, please show me, because I don't know if you will.
Yeah, Calhoun is the guy that Dink and I are on today. He's even on FanDuel too, 3,300. Not quite the discount you're getting on DraftKings, but still pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
I talked about him before. I'm a sucker for Trumbo. He's going to have one of those 2 home run games, and I'm going to make damn well sure it's in my lineup.
Well, it's gonna happen eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
I love
2,800 on FanDuel.
Last night, Chris Carter hit a home run first inning, and everyone knew what was coming. Everyone knew it. Everyone was like, "Oh well, random Chris Carter double dong night," and sure enough, it happened because he only hit them 1 in a row. It's how it has to be. I don't know.
Rios is out of the lineup, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Mike Brantley tonight. I know he's super expensive on DraftKings, but he's a reasonable price on FanDuel, and I just think that if you had to take one Indian, you had to take one guy for all factors considered against Rodgers, I think you take Brantley.
Yeah, I like Brantley a lot. Going back to Great American Ballpark, Jay Bruce is pretty reasonable price everywhere, and Eovaldi just I don't know. He had an encouraging start to the season, and now you look at his numbers, and it's the same as last year. It might even be worse, and he just keeps struggling against lefties.
Yeah. I really like Eovaldi, man. He throws really hard. He was striking guys out at the beginning of the season, and he like kind of completely lost it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's not walking people this year, so I shouldn't say he has made no improvement. But the strikeout rate, which was there at the beginning of the season, which was the most encouraging, especially with that velocity, I was prone to think that it was, a legitimate step forward, and no.
It's gone now.
No. K percentage is actually down from last year now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think today's slate is pretty straightforward. I think that you try and get in guys from Texas and Houston, those that high scoring run environment, get in some Indians versus Rogers. I don't know, like I never know how to feel about those guys who have the stuff that scouts still like Rogers. Like I don't know if a full stack against him in cash games is the way to go. Like Dan was telling me maybe that wasn't a great idea earlier.
No, I agree with Dan. Dan and I seem to always be on the same page, but I mean, the Vegas total is 4, so I don't overly rely on Vegas, but if I see something that is off from what I thought, I'll at least take it into account. So, if you're thinking 3 or 4 Cleveland guys, maybe you tone it down to 2 or 3.
I mean, I had 4 guys, but it's going to be hard to do with Chisenhall not.
And there's a lot of other good opportunities, which we've talked about, so you don't have to stack, so it probably makes sense in cash games to not stack.
Don't tell me what I have to do. You jerk. All right, dude. You wanna guarantee some dongs?
There's nothing I love more in this world than guaranteeing dongs.
All right, we'll guarantee an obvious dong, son.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Buster Posey.
Well, that's a terrible pick. I had to train some troops in Clash of Clans. Do you play Clash of Clans yet?
Nah. I tried to get Rachel to sign up because I wanted to watch her battle you and beat you and troll you. But
well, that would not happen. My clan is too legit. Too legit. I mean, I'm gonna. Tommy G. They're talking about Tommy G's BVP lineup in the chat. Guaranteed dong. I'm gonna go Brantley. It's just as bad as obvious as it gets. Under the radar, son.
Under the radar. Johnny Peralta.
Really?
Still under the radar.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's under the radar. Under the radar for me, I'm gonna go Christian Yelich.
I mean, my obvious guy. I went with like a not so obvious guy because I don't want to be boring. But
yeah, no, that's fine. Whatever, dude. Just like make a mockery of the game.
I will. That's fine.
Yeah.
I will.
All right, dude. What else do we have to do? I guess. What are you gonna regret? I think I already know what I'm gonna regret.
I'm gonna regret. I'm entering a couple teams into the DK 109 quali, and I'm gonna regret fading Cleveland. I'm going to fade Cleveland in that because I think they're going to be, more heavily owned than they should be. So that's probably going to be my regret.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be a thing. If I had to say a regret, I think it's probably going to be forcing in Kipnis out of all the Indians because he's still dealing with that oblique thing, and I'm sort of taking Indians for home run upside. And if he doesn't really have that home run upside because of the injury, it's sort of a mistake to take him. But I'm doing it anyways. So
I also might regret just saying I'm not even going to look at the weather from now on. From this point forward, I'm just going to throw Strasburg in there.
Just going to throw Strasburg?
Yeah, it looks clear enough for me now. I don't even want to second guess myself. Remember that time we got off of him because of the weather, and he threw like 7 awesome innings, and then the game got called after he was done anyways, so he got the win because they were winning.
Yep. Yeah, I do
That's
remember
not happening to me tonight. I'm on the right side of that one tonight.
Yeah, I think I am just going to take Strasburg too. Also, Dan was talking about it in the chat, but seriously, guys, if someone will give you the odds, Tommy G is winning the FanDuel Baseball Championship. So, like, if someone will bet on it with you, you should absolutely take Tommy G because he's going to win it.
We should. FI should do that. They're a good community. You guys should come up with an entire betting lines for every player.
I mean, honestly, what we should do is we should just find the best possible BVP lineup and give it to Tommy.
He would play it. He's got 2. Does he have 3 entries now, or is it still just 2?
I think just 2. I'm not sure, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll get bored tomorrow night and I'll just create like a lineup of dude bros.
I finally looked for the first time at the schedule, even though it doesn't do any good. Just to, I hate that there's a game in Coors.
Dan has been looking at it for the last week, maybe like he's been,
really no way. I did the first time last night.
He already knows like some of the guys he wants to take.
That's crazy. That game in Coors is driving me nuts because I'll be torn as to like fade it because it's going to be high percentage, and you got to go big or go home. But
got to go for the millie.
But it's also, this is so stupid because it has no effect on what I should pick. But it's like most of the games start right at 7, and that's one of the later games. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine sitting there with my games done and watching Coors and just needing outs. I mean, that would be so
putting yourself in a position to need outs from Coors is just... I'm kind of glad I'm not in your shoes, man. Like, I mean, I would like to win $1 million, but needing outs from Coors... Like, I know what I would do. I would just stack 4 and 4 from Coors. I don't... Like, Cueto is throwing, don't care. I would just go 8. I would just go 4 and 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't want something where if I hit it, I still don't win. I want something where if I hit it, I'm gonna win.
I mean, we're all trying to hit something, aren't we? At the end of the day.
I feel like what you said does not correspond to what I said at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. Don't let me check weather either. Actually, like because I do just want to go Team Strauss.
I think everything else looks good. That's Miami, Cincinnati looks. There's some threat early if you're thinking about taking pitchers there, but I don't know why you would take pitchers there. But
Team Eovaldi, son.
Yeah, dude. Let's just do Team Strauss. Let's just do it. No one's allowed to pull up DVD. We're blocking that from each other's computers.
Someone in chat just asked about Strasburg's history versus the Braves, and Dink said that's the Tommy G chat. Yeah, sorry, I just don't care. Like that's just taking BVP and making it an even bigger thing.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Sometimes I do look at what they did, like, to see how it meshes, but like it's not driving what I'm playing. Strasburg is one of the best pitchers in the league. Crazy high K rate, which is perfect for DFS. And I mean, doesn't Atlanta suck against right-handed pitching? Yeah, 26 in weighted runs created plus.
Bro, but it doesn't matter because the Braves are in his head.
And 6th highest K percentage. That's a really good combination. Low weighted runs created plus, high... I can't speak. Close it out, Dave. Just close it out.
I can't, dude. Dave, I don't know where Dave is. Like, the stream will just stay up, so we have to stay here and talk.
He's going to forget about us, and we're just going to be here talking for...
I mean, there's a good chance Dave is just out in his garden just chilling right now. Like,
yeah, I believe it. Let's get some questions from the chat.
Yeah, if you guys want any questions, I mean, you can go ahead and hit us up. We will we'll answer you. CSU, you got any questions, bro? For the quality tonight? I don't know. I'm pulling up daily baseball data. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, what did I just tell you?
Yeah, well, you blocked it. The problem is you blocked it on.
Boxers or briefs. I mean, this is like boxers.
Yeah,
10 out of 10 boxers.
Sure. What brand though is the question?
As long as it doesn't have that weird like elastic that shapes on the side. Other than that, I don't care what brand.
Pete wants to know if we buy into the home road splits for Strauss.
I
think he might.
I would say 100% no, but
I think he's messing with us because then he asked about Madison Bumgarner's, which was a whole big thing on Twitter.
Oh, why? Because he had that one bad start.
Yeah. I mean, I don't buy into home road splits for any pitcher, really, unless there's like a reason to, unless it's like Petco or something. I mean, Nationals Park
I
is...
mean, I do think it's possible that stuff affects different pitchers differently, though, is the one... Like, I know Derek and I kind of got into an argument a little bit about it one time. And I think, like, primarily for me, it's the park factors that we care about, the park factors and the skill. But, I mean, to say home road affects every pitcher the exact same way, I think would be inaccurate.
Yeah, I mean, it just... Like, I don't know. It's just so hard to pin down, and it's most likely noise, and... I mean, like, seriously, though, like...
But yeah, Bumgarner being worse at home, like, I put zero stock into that.
Yeah. I mean, and
like,
I don't know, like, do you want to go...
follow the narrative, but, like, if you have something that meshes with data and you can make it a good point, like, I don't mind at least considering it.
Can I go on, like, a little BVP tangent real quick? Just real quick. So this is why BVP isn't a thing. For BVP to have predictive value for what we do, it would have to hit 100% of the time because the sample size is so small. No, listen to me. Don't make that face at me.
No, I'm on your side with this, and you're not wording the argument the way I would like you to word it.
Well, because the scientific argument...
I'll let you finish. Go.
Well, the scientific argument behind it has been proven for over a decade now. If you go read the book by Tom Tango, like...
Dude, you gotta stop just quoting one thing, though. That's why people harp on you on this.
Well, you think that's the only study that's ever been done on it?
No, it's not the only study, but make your point without referencing the book.
Okay, for daily fantasy, this is why it's not a thing. It would have to work every single time because the sample size is so small for you to use it as, like, a reliable tool and be like, oh, well, he's 7 for 11 off this guy with 2 dongs, then he would have to hit, like, a home run, or he would have to have a multi-hit game off that guy again for it to be a predictive tool, because you can't say, oh, well, random variance, because then it's just, because all BVP is random variance. Like, that's what it is. So
yeah, but the problem with the way you're phrasing the argument is, like, I don't like the way you said it would have to hit every time. Like, we take guys, like, I take guys that I know won't hit every time just because I think they'll hit more times than not in the long run.
Yeah. Also,
my problem with BVP is I think that there probably are some hitters that see certain pitchers better for whatever reason. I just think that we don't know if BVP is telling us that because the sample sizes are so small that the data, isn't reliable. Like,
because it's like 7 at-bats. 7 at-bats are not a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the clutch hitting thing where, like, there's been studies that show there probably are clutch hitters that exist. It's probably a super small percentage, and we could never flush them out just because the data is unreliable in those situations. And that's kind of how I feel about BVP. There's probably some hitters that see certain pitchers better than others, but just because a guy's 8 for 20, that doesn't mean he is one of those guys.
Yeah, I guess. which means, like, so the problem with that...
Rachel just tried to get something from the room and
yeah, it was hilarious.
Crawled behind my chair, and apparently she was spotted, so...
Yeah. Also, another thing with the Strauss thing is that, like, oh, we're talking about this huge, long career he's had. Like, how many innings has he thrown? Like, not even that many. And most pitchers will have better home performance anyways if, like, things are neutral, just because home field advantage is, like, a real thing for pitchers.
Yeah, so I don't mind using it as, like, a tiebreaker or something, but on a day like today, when I think he's clearing away the best option, I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, I mean, Team Strauss all the way, dude. I'm going to go throw my Strauss.
I would like to see some more proof to this whole... A lot of people say he's a head case, but I think they say that because they're looking for reasons to explain why, for this year, his ERA isn't matching his expected ERAs. But I haven't really seen any, like, legitimate arguments that would show he's a head case, other than people wanting to explain things they can't explain.
His WOBA is higher with runners on base. But, again, that's super small sample.
Steroids.
But, like, I mean, some of the best pitchers, like Kik Hannon saying he gets super tilted at small things. Some of the best pitchers of all time get pissed when their fielders screw up and get super tilted.
I mean, I remember.
Like, if he got super tilted and was having an amazing season, we would just say he's really good because he's such a
he's a competitor.
Yep. And he cares so much.
Yeah,
but because it's going the other way, we're saying it's because he's a head case.
I mean, Satchel Paige, when he used to load the bases with 2 outs, he used to call his fielders off. Like, he would just be like, "You guys have to like leave the field," and he would try and strike the dude out. So obviously there were times when that worked and that was awesome, right? Like, oh, you get the out. But if you give up a pop fly, like it's over for you. So like, we should stop trying to find reasons for things that don't exist. If we don't have enough data, stop making a judgment on it. And that's hard for humans to do because we want to see patterns in everything, but sometimes there just isn't a pattern there.
I mean, there's always going to be outliers and random variants, especially in a sport like baseball.
So close to football, you guys. I can taste it.
Yeah, there's no random variants in football, so that's good.
At least it's predictable random variants, though.
That doesn't make any sense. Oh my god, Dave, end the show before I...
No, but you know how the variance is going to happen.
What?
Like,
that will do it for today's Daily Fantasy MLB show, sponsored
of Armando Galarraga throwing a perfect game. There's no equivalent to that in football. Would never.
What about the time? Who was that running back for the Vikings last year who had 25 carries for 50 yards and 3 touchdowns?
Matt Asiata sucks. His college numbers would have told you that would have been the performance he would have given.
That he would score 3 touchdowns and be one of the most valuable players of the week?
I mean, the way the Vikings run their offense, most of their goal line plays, because they don't have anyone outside of Kyle Rudolph, are structured around, and their offense is built around Adrian Peterson as well. So most of their goal line packages are going to center on having the running back score.
So you predicted that he would be terrible and awesome at the same time.
I mean, I had him in my lineups.
That will do it for today's show. Dang it!
Didn't act fast enough.
Oh, man. Oh, well, thanks to Davis and Mike for... I mean, you guys bring it on Fridays. I enjoyed like just listening to it while I worked on draft boards. So, thanks for basically anchoring down the show. And yes, we are another week closer to NFL, and preseason NFL is available on the Fantasy Elite app. Davis raked last night. You can rake too. If Davis can do it, anybody can. So.
Oh yeah, Kyle's right though. Basketball greater than every other daily fantasy sport.
Yeah,
that's not close. Yeah.
Well, duh.
If I ever complain about hoops, just
you did. You did complain about hoops.
Yeah, you complained a lot about hoops. So
no, not very much. But there was one specific week where you're like, "Dude, this is the worst."
Fink and I went on tilt together. That was probably the worst combination.
You can't tilt with Steve, dude. You go to a dark place.
It's like drinking with Tommy. It's like don't do it. There's no good outcome that can come out of it.
No.
So I wish I saved some of our G-Chat combos. 7:15. This is bullshit. There's just no way we can win right now. There's just no way we can.
And the thing is, Steve doesn't get equally happy when he wins. Like he's like he.
I don't know. He was pretty happy yesterday. He was very happy yesterday.
He was happy, but not equally.
He was on top of the world happy yesterday.
If he was as happy as he was when he tilts, like he would just be giving money away to people on the street, dude. There's no equivalent for the anger.
All right. Well, that will do it for today's show. Thanks to Davis's room has got a little bit of a romantic feel to it now.
It's because it's my girlfriend's room.
Yeah, but it just turned orange for a brief second. Maybe it was the sunlight. I don't know. Join us on Monday, 5 Eastern, 4 Central Time. Also on Monday, we'll be rolling out some football stuff, some football news. So again, football's close.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So join us on Monday, 5 Eastern, 5 Eastern, 4 Central Time, and we'll do another one of these here. Fantasy Insiders TV shows later.